everybody, Erin here again today. I'm gonna have a family reunion coming up, and with my two sons, and I have two nephews, I thought I would make something fun to give all of them. I did make something for the nieces already. I made them some cute little bracelets, but I didn't really think that the boys would go for bracelets. So I thought keychains would be the thing, or they could put it on their backpack as like a key fob or something fun like that. So just a little bit different. I am gonna keep it the beachy theme, so I'm gonna keep kind of a blue and white theme going on. So I already pulled some little key chain or hook things. This is what I had on hand. Some white beads and some white and clear beads, almost translucent beads. And then we're gonna make some clay and we're gonna make the colors. So this is kind of the tail end. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make kind of a ball on the end. And so I'm gonna do the fish. I think the fish would be kind of cute to do at the bottom there. And we're gonna do kind of a blue fish. So all of this is an air dry clay, so I always like to keep my water bottle handy. This is Megan's clay. So when you mix the color in, when you're using paint, you want to make sure that you use the right amount of paint. If you feel like if you want it darker, you need to use more paint. Your hands are going to get a little bit gross because you're mixing in the paint with the clay, but it's okay. I'm going to use a very big ultramarine. It's not going to look like this color though. It's going to get diluted with the white. So you just put a little stream of blue, and then you just start folding and mixing. All right, so here it is all mixed. My hands are still a little bit inky, and that's okay. Just kind of clean up any ink or paint that's left over. Now, I didn't completely mix it. I like the kind of the swirly effect. I may have gone a little too overboard, but it's okay. I do want it a little bit mottled looking. So I'm just gonna take a ball. Like I said, I'm gonna do the fish for all the kids as the bottom piece, and that's way, way too much. Just take a little bit, and then just start pushing it into your mold. And again, this is still way too much. Push it into your mold, and just kind of push off any extras that you may have. You want to make sure that you get the right amount inside your mold. If you took a little less, you wouldn't have to do this step. And then just kind of make sure it's tucked in all over. It's a little bit less in the middle, so I'm going to add a little more. It dips down. I can just barely see that. I think I pushed a little too much out trying to clean it up. Just gonna go in. I may have added a little too much, and just do your best. So I do want them to be pretty flat on the back and pretty even. And then once you feel like you've got the good fish shape, and you've got all the edges clean, just go ahead and pop it out. There it is. And then you just kind of keep tucking it in. I'm gonna go ahead and make, I need to make 4 keychains. I have to make 8 total fish. And then the 2 fish are gonna get sandwiched together like this. So I'm gonna make 7 more fish. So my fish have hardened, and as you can see, I've already started doing some. Let me show you kind of what I did on these fish. On each of the fish, I took the same blue paint that I used to help color the white clay and placed a little bit just on a very, very fine tip brush. And I just kind of hit all the edges, and it was really hard. If it's hard for you to see kind of the, I don't know, the bumps and all the little kind of eccentricities of the fish or whatever you're doing, you can always take a look at what the mold looks like to give you an idea of like, oh yeah, there's supposed to be scales there, or this is where the eye is, or there's, you know, fins here, that kind of thing. So the fins that I'm going to try and emphasize are the ones that are up here. I'm just going to do a light coat with the blue paint and go in and just kind of highlight that section right there. Just a tiny bit, you don't want to overdo it. On the tail, just kind of go over it, just to show that yeah, there is something there. I want to highlight something going on right here, kind of a separation between the head and the torso of the fish. Now there's these little scales right down here. It's the bottom fins. And then right here is a whole bunch of little scales. They're kind of like little accentuated bumps. And so I'm just kind of accentuating those. And then we have the eye. Just gonna get in there and show off the eye. and then to show off the mouth. And I'm just kind of doing a V effect right here to show the mouth. Super simple. And then it gets the effect of this is what our fish looks like. On this one, I didn't do it, you know, it looked like more of a blob. So I kind of morphed as I've gone along. Are they perfect? No. It's something quick just to show that, hey, they're fish. And that's all we're kind of going for. All right, the next step is I'm going to use some Gem Tack glue by Beacon. And you just need a tiny amount. Super, super tiny in the eye socket. And like minuscule tiny, enough just to make sure these are sticky gems already, just to make sure they don't fall off, because this could be a keychain or something. We really want a good firm hold. And I'm using this little quick stick. It's just an easy way of kind of picking up your tiny gems and putting them on and not having to worry about, oops, gotta take the lid off. It's got a sticky end here and it makes the gem stick to the end, and then you can place it in where you want it to. And if some of the sticky that's on the end gets on, just wipe it off. You can use the other end, which is kind of like a scraping tool, and just scrape it off. And just make sure you put your lid back on. Super simple. Now, I'm gonna let these dry a little bit more. The next step is that if you've seen my problem, we're gonna have 2 fish per keychain. When you put the fish like this, they don't line up. So we're gonna place them on a disc. So this is the Makin's Clay white clay. And I'm gonna roll out discs and use their circle cutter. This is the Makin's Clay circle color and the Makin's Clay roller that we're gonna use. And the circle cutter comes in a set of 3, and this is the largest of the 3. But if you don't have a circle cutter, circles are kind of the easiest ones to find in terms of shapes, because you could use the lid off a jar, you could use a cup, you can use a different cookie cutter. It really kind of is up to you. So I'm gonna make 4 discs, and because I'm keeping this white, I can put this back in if I end up not using it. Have my disc cut out, is I'm going to go through and make basically what I have right here. I'm going to let this dry before I actually attach my fish, and 1 fish is going to go on each side eventually. I'm just not there yet. So you want to get your clay while it's still wet, and what I've done is I've cut out a section of hemp, and it doesn't matter how long, well, a decent amount of length, and I'm just kind of picking a similar color because you're going to see a hint of it coming through. And just take whatever string, whatever keychain piece you're using, fold it over, and I'm just using a series of white and kind of clear beads. So the first ones I'm going to put on the white, and I'm going to double it up just to make it extra strong instead of having 1 strand. Nice big pony beads are great for this. Put a couple of, these are supposed to be mood changing beads, so we'll see. If they actually work, I'm not sure. We'll have to find out. And so this is the top of our keychain now. What we're going to do at this point is we go ahead and rest our keychain with a little bit of wiggle room. On here. I don't want to be too snug coming out, so we're going to put just a little bit of wiggle room, and now we're going to add some glue. Don't overdo it. The glue I'm using for this is the Beacon's 3-in-1. And make sure you cap it between each use so it doesn't dry out on you and get sticky. Now you're going to take another disc, lay it on top. Oh, forgot to do one thing. You want to cut your string so it doesn't come out the bottom. So cut it shy of your circle. And this is just garbage now. All right, so at this point, anything, make sure it's nice and clean. And you really want to kind of press it together. And then you're going to take your roller again and kind of form it and squish it. Now, because we've added glue inside of here, whatever clay we cut off in a minute is going to have to be thrown away. So really press it in, get it all nice and, you know, condensed together. Now, because we no longer have this pretty circle, we're going to take our circle cutter again and go right up to the top. I need to get a little bit all the way up to the top. So we have a nice good circle area to punch again. And make sure you're all the way at the top because we don't want to lose some of the clay at the top. The bottom, it doesn't matter. And re-punch your circle. Press firm. Come on the back side, remove all the clay on the back. If a little bit came off the top, that's okay. Just gives us some more room up top for your beads to wiggle around. It's going to be nice and secured between the glue and being pressed in the clay. And whatever strand you're seeing here, it's going to get covered up when you put the fish on, so it's not a big deal. Kind of fix any little edges that might be poking out. And then eventually, we're just going to glue our little fish on. We're going to paint the edges, but I do want this to harden before we do any painting technique on it. So just kind of clean it up, make it look good. And then that's the beginning of our keychain right here. Our little discs. I'm going to go ahead and do the other two and then let all these dry. All right, so I've let these dry for a little bit. They're not 100%, but they're pretty darn close. So at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through. I'm going to take my brush and my same paint and all I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of do right around the edge, just to give it a fun little edge going all the way around in blue to kind of match the blue that's already there. So I figured out that actually using my finger is a lot easier going all the way around because there's a little bit of a lip. I'm going to add a little bit more glue and just use my finger to go around and to kind of ink the edges of this. Finger painting at its finest. Is I need to glue on my, or second to last, is my little fish on here. And so I'm just going to use my Beacon 3-in-1 and glue one fish to each side and then one fish to the other side. So the last step I did is I took this sealer finisher and just kind of sprayed it on all of them, just to make sure that they were completely done and sealed. Hope you enjoy. Please come back. See you again soon, and hope you subscribe. Bye-bye.